Hello, viewers. This is AKWasp, and this is part 2 of podcast number 1, which is talking about the bonus experience weekend. And I'm joined here today with Midnite. And if you missed part 1, click the, the link in the description or on screen perhaps, and it'll take you to part 1. And this is part 2 of 3, and this is an interactive podcast, meaning that Midnite and I will be reading your comments below and creating a follow-up response video podcast type thing based on your comments and to address any other concerns that we may have omitted from this podcast. So please enjoy and stay tuned for part 3 coming up later this week. What I will say about Dungeoneering is how it relates to bonus experience. So the very first bonus experience weekend was basically a big promo for Dungeoneering, because the skill wasn't released yet, but they were about to release it, and Jagex was like, hey, we are going to give you guys this bonus experience weekend, which, according to you, the people have been asking for before. I'd never even heard the concept before.
Yeah.
Obviously,
A lot
it was an
of
awesome
other
concept.
MMOs
I was like, nice. But it's an awesome concept. But yeah, so they released bonus experience weekend under the premise that they're going to release a new skill. I don't think they even had a name for it yet. I mean, I'm sure they had a name, but we didn't know the name for it. And it was like, raise all your skills this weekend because they will all be useful in Dungeoneering. And it was awesome. And everyone loved bonus experience weekend. And that definitely added to, part of the initial love for Dungeoneering was like, yay, all these skills I just trained up for my bonus weekend are actually helping me in Dungeoneering. And useless skills like fire making was like, it actually has a use in the game again. But yeah.
Well, the deal with me, what I was saying about people, requesting it, they did actually request it. We're talking 6 months. I don't know why it started, but it did, and it was just like, hey, other MMOs have double XP or some form of extra XP. We weren't getting it. That's what we wanted. It was because back then, 99s were like, it's not even that long ago, really, but 99s. Okay, this is where I saw it personally. I don't know if everyone else sees it this way, but 99s were rare. Right? Okay, they were rare in the sense that if you had a good 99, you were a beast. If you walked around with a Slayer 99 cape, you were god. If you walked around with a Herblore or farming cape, you were unbelievably cool. You were like player mod status, because it's crazy. Now, if you walk around with those, it's still cool. But it's more like, oh, you're a rich bitch, rather than, wow, you spent a bunch of time on something useful as fuck. Back then, Herblore was just... 99 Herblore was just like, hey, look at me, I'm cool. Now it's actually useful. I don't think Turmoil was even, I don't think Overloads were even out then, were they?
No,
when Dungeoneering came out?
Definitely not. Overloads are new.
Yeah.
I still think of Dungeoneering as new. I still think of Summoning as new, just because it hasn't been around for most of the time I've been playing. But but Overloads is definitely newer than Summoning or Dungeoneering.
Yeah. And, back then, Herblore, when did Herblore actually finish? I call it maxing a skill, but, it's obviously, maxing
it didn't have a point to finishing it, because, and this is still part of, I was thinking about making, a guide to Overloads versus the mini marker, because there's really comparable in a lot of different ways, and one of the things about Herblore is that you don't need, if you're not going to go all the way to extreme potions, there's no benefit aside from the quest requirements to actually doing Herblore, because you can buy supersets. You could always buy supersets. I mean, in RS1, people would buy when you could just duel anybody on the street, for staking. People would, supersets were the most popularly traded item, and they were actually probably profitable back then because everybody wanted to stake. Just, it's probably a foreign concept nowadays, but Lumbridge was the place where everybody staked. But yeah, there's no point to low-level Herblore aside from quest requirements, because any potion that you can make at a lower level, you can just buy it for pennies on the dollar compared to what it would take you to level up to that skill or level up to make it yourself.
That's the thing I never understood. I never understood if it's because broken or something. But if you look at the actual levels, level 1 is attack potion. You never make an attack potion. You find one, you make it. Well, no, you don't make it. You buy it, right? And all the low levels, like you said, it's cheaper just to buy. Okay, if you added up the money you'd need to get to, say, superset, and then you think of just buying them as you need them, think of how many times you'd need to buy them as you need them, like how long you'd go just buying them as you need them before it would outdo the price of leveling to that level. It's ridiculous because you have to pay for the ingredients as well, which costs even more.
Exactly.
I don't think there's any profit in herblore whatsoever. There just isn't.
That's an interesting challenge. I bet you somebody could find a way. Off the top of my mind, I think that cleaning herbs is profitable, but I mean, that's not.
I mean, making potions, like making potions like that. I don't think you can make any profit. I think some of the.
I mean, if you discount the opportunity cost that it costs, or in the time that it takes to collect secondary ingredients, and you look at that as profit, then yeah, it can make profit. But assuming that you recognize your lost opportunity costs and you just buy your secondary ingredients, no, I don't think there's any way to make money with it. There's good ways to make money using it, like these super anti-fires, and then you go to frost dragons. Yeah, that definitely makes money using them, but makes money making them? I don't think I can come up with an example.
Well, theoretically, this is something I recently.
I'm just gonna grab a glass of water real quick. Keep talking.
All right. Well, theoretically, a phoenix. What you need for a super restore is an anti-fire and a phoenix feather, right? So if you were to put the prices together, because obviously a phoenix feather is completely untradeable, but if you added up the total prices of what you're making and the losses, it comes up. So if it were tradable, the phoenix feather were tradable, it would be 1,000 coins. So you're still losing money, and it takes time. But really, if you're putting together a bunch of phoenix feathers to make a super anti-fire, and you're paying for the anti-fires, then it's around 150k XP an hour if you factor in everything.
What was 150k?
If you just collect together phoenix feathers and then buy the anti-fires, that's roughly about 150k XP for herblore, if you factor everything in.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a good way to do it. I don't know how viable anti-fires are nowadays, but back when I was looking at it, anti-fires were not viable, and the blue dragon scales were not viable, and the lantidines, whatever they're called, can't even picture how to spell it right now, but those were also not viable. Everything about anti-fires was just, it was so hard to get anti-fires. And
I don't see
nowadays,
the point. I don't know why they set it up like that.
Can you get them? Do they sell in the GE?
They do, but they're really expensive. I don't understand.
They're rare.
I mean, of course,
because nobody makes them to sell them. People make them and then they keep them. Partly probably because they've had a hard time buying them in the past. They're like, I'm just going to keep them now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the crazy thing. Like, I don't understand. I think right now the only reason why they're so expensive is because people keep them, like you said, and because we need them for extremes. Right now, I don't know if you believe this, but they're 4,500 a piece. A piece.
For what? For 3 doses?
For 3 doses. Yeah, 3 doses.
That sounds
4,500. That sounds ridiculous.
That sounds cheaper. Didn't they used to be more?
No, surely not. I remember buying them way cheaper than that. Before extremes, they were nothing.
Well, it gives you 21 minutes of dragonfire protection.
I don't know, man.
I mean, you can make dragon bones are pretty much that price, aren't they? How much are dragon bones right now?
Oh, I'm at like 6k a piece. Something like that.
They're not 6k a piece. There's no way. Really?
Let me check.
I hope not, because I did the math on what I need to get from my 96 to 99 prayer. I think it was like 62 million.
Dragon bones? They're 3.6k.
Yeah, see, that sounds way more proper. Not 6k.
Oh yeah, no, they spiked recently. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they spiked not too long ago. But yeah, You know, that's. I get what you're saying, but it still seems like a lot if you're someone like me
You
who's
kill two
new to.
dragons and you made your money back, and then you have another 20 minutes of killing dragons.
But I'm not looking at it from a perspective of I'm killing things and I'm using it. I'm just training my skill, and I'm trying to train Herblore. For me, it's the first time, so that's a huge amount of money. If you total everything up together, it's a ridiculously large amount of money if you really want to go mass production.
Yeah, but yeah, Herblore is expensive. I mean, all right, I don't want to get into dungeoneering again, but there are skills that Jagex added into the game over the years, like construction and dungeoneering, but specifically construction, that was just designed to be a money drain, to get money out of the game. Because all the costs, well, now you can actually, the money doesn't really go away if you make your own planks. But initially, you had to pay the guy to make planks, and it just took
You
money
still
straight
do.
out. No, you can. There's a lunar spell for that, isn't there?
Oh
So
yeah,
now
yeah.
technically the
Blackening.
money can go back to the players who crafted those runes. But initially, the money left the economy when with construction, and obviously, it made a lot of money disappear out of the economy because the people who had money were the people who, the rich leveled up their construction because they wanted, I don't even know. I have 99 construction. I don't even know what you get at 99. Whatever, some throne, I think. I don't know. So
Something
everything
stupid
is
that's
expensive,
worthless.
and a lot of so besides the planks, there's also like the magic stones and the gold leaves, which are you have to buy from the NPCs. So a lot of money still leaves the economy. Why is nothing going in my traps?
You don't have to buy the gold leaves from NPCs. You can buy them from the GE.
Well, but they came from NPCs. Nothing drops them. There's no way to make them. Nothing drops them.
Oh,
The only
okay.
way you're buying them from the G is if somebody else bought them from the NPC. They all came. All that
That,
money originally went into the NPC.
believe it or not, that's something I love about RuneScape, but I never understood. I'm a smart guy, but I could never sit myself down and talk myself through the economy because it's unreal. I could easily compare it to real world economy. It's ridiculous. It's the only game I know of that has an economy, like a real economy. Not just like
It's not that hard to understand the RuneScape economy. What what the problem with the economy is that just the quick crazy like wild cards that get thrown in with updates, because something which may have been stable for years like just becomes worthless or worth a ton
Abyssal
overnight.
Whip, Abyssal Whip Fury.
Well, I'm talking more about stuff like something comes and trumps something like Barrows, not Barrows armor, but
Fury is 2.7 mil now. Like three, like I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
okay,
either
so
2.7 or
it,
3.7.
it dropped because Onyxes became so it used to be cheap because you were able to sell Chaos runes for like massive, you bought cheap Chaos runes and you sold them off to the magical store guy in the Tazar city, and you bought Onyxes, and that's what kept them cheap. And then one day, Jagex was like, "Nope, you can no longer sell Chaos runes," and then like all of a sudden, just Onyxes stopped coming into the game entirely. And so, as people started, as Bounty Hunter, at that time, yeah, Bounty Hunter existed. So, Bounty Hunter did a good job of getting items out of the game, too. But now that PKing's back to the way it's been, those items don't leave the game anymore. So, they keep getting recirculated. But where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is that the Onyxes, are now fast coming back into the game. So, it kind of crashes what was a stable item because of an update that just introduced a bunch more to the system. And another item which I'm hoping, so I actually wanted to talk a bit about the bonus experience weekend, but I guess I'll just kind of cut myself off by saying it now, is Ceradome and Brews. They're awesome and they're useful and they're stable, and I bet you by the end of the year they're going to be worthless because of an
Why?
update. Because Jagex is going to raise the HP cap or LP cap or whatever it's called nowadays.
Have they confirmed it? Have they
They
confirmed
will.
it?
They're changing the combat triangle to something that we don't know, which is probably something that's going to be broken. But they're definitely going to raise experience. They're going to raise, you know,
Why would it make it worthless? It's a
because no, no,
percentage,
no.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to do exactly what it did, but they're going to make food logically, they should make food either heal more than it currently does, because if everybody has 1400 health or 3000 health, or just right now it's at 1400 with Nex armor, there's no reason why they have to stick with those numbers. They could just readjust everything. If food keeps healing the low amounts that it does now, nobody's going to use food. Everyone's going to use Cerebrews. So logically, if you're going to change people's health, you have to change the way that they heal their health. So they're going to make food that's better than Cerebrews. And Cerebrews...
I don't think it makes a difference, though.
I can't prove it. It's just speculation, but...
Tell me if I'm wrong, but if you raise the amount that food can heal, but you also raise the amount of health, then, Cerebrews are just percentage. They would raise with everything else.
Exactly, but food is nominal. Food gives you... Shark gives you 20 health, or 200 health nowadays, but, it gives you that 20 health. If they raise what the shark gives you, or sharks keep giving you 200 health, and they release, a super shark, and it heals you 500 health, it's still less than what a Cerebrew can do, because you can put 6 Cerebrews in a flask, but it's more for lower health players, and it's cheap. It gives other options. Cerebrews have the complete monopoly on the healing market right now, because if you go against the boss, there's just no other logical option to bring besides Cerebrews.
Also, I've noticed that I love that the ratio is now perfectly even with them. I don't know if it wasn't before, but now it's awesome. Like before, what was it? You take 3 sips, you sip and restore, right?
I don't know.
Was that?
I never used Cerebrews before I had overloads.
Well, in case I'm wrong, it was you sip 3, you restore 1.
I think that's right. That sounds right. I think it was you sip 2 and you restore 1. But anyways.
No, 2 wouldn't be enough.
No, you mean
at least.
That would
well,
be,
depends how much health you need. Well, no. Oh, you meant no. You don't sip 2 because you don't sip 2 because if you have 2 Saradomin brews, sorry, three sips of a sour brew, and then you sip 1 restore, you'll be just below your levels. And at that point, just wait, You're literally a few levels off your cap. So it's a waste of super restore to use that because you can just wait a little bit, right? If you have overloads, it doesn't even matter, right? But now, because we're in 6, and it's like a totally beautiful number, you can sip 3, sip 1 restore. Sip 3, sip 1 restore, It's super good, and because the potions, I love this. I love the fact that when your potion finishes, the whole thing gets destroyed. I love that.
Nice,
Thank God for that. I don't want to sound like I'm over-exaggerating, but I would get killed dropping shit. Because you just had to. When you had to get more shit out of your familiar, you'd need to drop it, and it would get you hurt sometimes.
Oh, also just, I figured because of your, I'm sure you're not actually OCD, but you're what we call OCD, where you had to drop
a little bit, yeah.
When I was making my corpse solo guide, I considered adding in a clause or whatever, not clause, but just a little statement hey, you're not picking anything up while you're doing this, so don't drop your vials. I always drop my vials when they're empty, just because I don't like looking at them. But when you're dropping your vials, it gives you no benefit to drop your vials. Besides, you don't have to look at them anymore. But doing that can mess you up, and it can help get you killed, and it's an extra little micromanagement thing, which once you get good enough to where, you don't have to think about what you're doing, you just do it. But if you're just learning, dropping those vials could be like a death spell on you.
It's also I don't know if this is a real thing, but when I get something new, obviously, the shit's been out for a while, but I'm someone who's always late because I don't have the time to invest into getting new shit as soon as it comes out, right? So I remember when I was doing Nomad, that was the first time I used brews. First time ever. So what I was trying to do was, I don't even know if the people do this, but I got told people do this, so I tried it. It was brewing at the perfect time so you'd never miss an attack. And I couldn't do it. It was, to me, impossible. You'd have to sip, attack, sip, attack, sip, attack, restore, attack.
Do you not do that now?
I don't know if people do it now.
How do you not do
crazy.
that? That's just what you do. That's the whole point of potions over food, is that it doesn't interrupt.
I don't do it. I don't do it at all because
What,
I can't.
you
I
just
still can't
stop
do it.
attacking to heal?
No, I don't stop completely, but I can't time it right. I can't click fast enough to do that.
There's nothing that
I don't know if
you
I'm
you
just
watch your
stupid.
guy swing his sword, and then as soon as he did it, you just heal, and then you click the guy again. There's nothing to think about.
No, I'm talking about Nomad though.
Well, it doesn't have any. It doesn't matter what you're hitting.
He
It
hits
doesn't. It
so
doesn't
hard.
sync with respect to the other guy. It syncs with respect to your guy. So you're
But for
attacking.
me, I
It
couldn't
doesn't
do
matter if
it.
it's
That
Nomad
was
or if it's like a level 1 like troll. It's just, it's
what I'm saying is like I couldn't manage it because I was getting so fucked up by Nomad that at that point I would like because I'd have to sip and then right click Nomad and then click attack. Sip, right click Nomad, click attack, and I couldn't do that motion over. And then think about it because I was lower level. I did Nomad at this point. Yeah, I was getting super obnoxious. I thought that I was the lowest level ever to kill Nomad at that point. I was like level 84, right? And this was maybe a week after Nomad came out or so, maybe 2 weeks. I thought I was the lowest level ever to do it. I don't know if that was true, probably not. But I did it, and it was really hard because I wasn't safe spotting. I was right there in front of him. I would have to constantly do this. Like, I would never stop brewing, ever. That was the whole thing. All the time. It was... You have no idea how difficult that is when you're when you were that level. I had like 70, maybe 80 defense. And I didn't even have like above 60
your
prayer.
defense would be boosted.
Yeah, but it didn't, like, maybe it boosted to like 80 something, but that was it. Like maybe 82 or
Well,
something.
if it's 15%, it would be, if you're at 80, it would go plus 12, so 92. I'm not sure if it's 15%.
No, I was like 70. I was like 75 back then.
Well, it'd still be
so
close to 90.
I don't know. Yeah, and I couldn't do it. Like, I just couldn't. I'd get fucked up. There was me in Void trying to go against Nomad, and because
Void,
of the
yeah, I don't know
Cyber thing,
why. I don't remember if you've said that in the podcast or beforehand, but yeah.
I said that beforehand.
Yeah,
That
Void,
was a
Nomad,
lie.
I wouldn't do that.
Someone trolled me. I'm sure of it, but whatever. It made sense on paper. Yeah, Void has... What does Void even do? Does it make you more accurate or something?
It gives... I think it's 10% attack and strength in melee. I think it gives you... I forget in range. It increases something in range. But here's the biggest troll. For magic, pretty much nobody should ever use the Void magic because it gives you 30% bonus accuracy. Only accuracy, not damage. And so I made spreadsheets and stuff, and I was trying to figure out my ideal like Glacier setup and other stuff, and it's like way better to use just regular straight up Arums than to use the Void because Arums gives you good accuracy in and of itself, and there's nothing you can combine to Void to match what Arums gives you. So Void for magic is fail.
So, this was me. Here was me in full Void Ranger gear, going against Nomad. My defense be boosted maybe 80 to 90. Constantly brewing. It was really hard, and it was really click intensive, and it was my second try. It was pain. Like, there's no amount of description that can give you a clear idea of how much pain this was, because it was really difficult, especially when he was hitting super fast. Because I know you're saying that it doesn't matter how fast he hits, but it meant that I could never stop brewing, and it was really difficult. It was really difficult to keep in time over and over again. I couldn't do it, but that's my fail story on Saradome and Brewers.
And actually, think about it. You probably weren't the lowest level to kill Nomad just because initially when they did it, they had that bug where if you use I don't remember which cat, but one of these summoning cats, the one that
Grak?
I don't know whichever cat you can just attack.
Was it the one that was spam?
Yeah, you could stand behind the pillar. I didn't do it because I didn't even know about it until after I fixed it.
Ambush.
Yeah, ambush. That sounds right. So
ambush.
whichever cat does ambush, you could just totally have killed Nomad safely behind the pillar by just spamming your ambush scroll at him. So I'm sure there was some like not level 1, but whatever like a summoning tank, some specialized summoning tank that just killed Nomad.
That's the only reason. Like, That's like one of the only reasons why I made it. I was safe spawning and I would pop out and hit it, and then at some point I was like, oh yeah, I have this thing, and then I would spam it. To me, it didn't seem OP. It didn't seem like a bug at all. Why was it a bug? It had a cooldown just like anything else, didn't it?
I don't know. I've never used the scroll. Apparently, that's not how Jagex intended it to be used.
I don't know what it did. It just kept hitting 260s over and over. Every time you'd click it, he would hit this cat thing would hit 260s on.
I've never ever used the cat, but I think it sounds like if you were using it and fighting him, then that's probably like how it was intended to be used. But I'm telling you that they were able to stand behind the pillar, just safe, and the cat would do all the fighting, and Nomad wouldn't
because
fight the cat. He would be trying to hit you, and you're behind the pillar. Or do they even have pillars in the quest? They have pillars in the tower. Do they have pillars?
No, it was always
well,
pillars.
There's different kinds of pillars at least, but
no, there was always circular pillars all around.
I don't remember.
No, it wasn't all around.
Yeah,
it was
I
in
think
a
it was
line.
like in a column.
Two
like
lines.
Columns of columns.
Yeah.
So not.
It was
like
two lines
columns?
of
Oh.
Yeah, there was two columns of columns, and then you could hide behind it. And if you stay there for too long, he would like restart the fight or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you like face me now or whatever, right? So I remember that.
And you got like 10 seconds before you had to fight him. Otherwise, right from the beginning, he would like fully heal, and you'd be screwed. But you could spam the shit out because it didn't really attack instantly, and when it did, it didn't do any damage. Like the cat itself didn't do jack shit to Nomad, but for some reason, this ambush scroll like consistent 260s over and over and over again. And you could spam it maybe like 6 times or something, and then a special bar would run out. So I don't see how it was overpowered, but I assume the cat wasn't supposed to do that. It was one of those cats from Hunter.
Yeah, it's one of the hunting cats.
If I remember right.
Are the only cats in the game, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not the Sabertooth or whatever, but...
Or not the only cats in the game, but the only cat summoning things. Or what about what's the greater talent used for? That might be a cat.
The talent? No, it wasn't a talent. I have it in my bag. I still have it.
You have it in your bag. What do you mean you have it in your bag?
My bank.
Okay.
My bank.
No, because I was doing this Herbivore Habitat earlier, and someone was saying that they got seeds in their bag or whatever, and I was like, wait, what? You got a seed bag? I was like, maybe this is like, because they have the coal bag and they have the gem bag from Dungeoneering, and they have the Juju Spirit teleport bag, and I was like, wait, can I just buy seeds? Because like the seeds that I had to acquire, I had to hunt, and I was like, I'll be disappointed if I could have just bought them. And he kept going on about his bag, and I'm like, what do you mean they're in your bag? And I was like, do you mean they're in your inventory? And he's like, yes, they're in my inventory. And I'm like, why didn't you just say inventory? Who said who?
Probably,
or maybe a backpack.
Guy.
Is that a Warcraft thing? Maybe that's why he was saying it.
Yeah, it is. Okay. They get like bags.
Like, I could hear it be called a backpack, or I've always thought inventory, but I could see a backpack, but a bag, like I did not know what he was trying to say. I've seen a lot of people at this Herbivore Habitat. I wonder... Oh, no. God, I just did it again. I keep accidentally picking my red flower instead of... whatever I'm supposed to do to it. Putting a potion on it, I guess. And when I pick it, I have to go and plant a new one. Which isn't really a deal, but it's annoying.
Okay, listen to this.
Wait, hold up. I was in the middle of the story, and I retrailed... Retrailed? I don't know. No, stupid trees. So I've seen a lot of people walking around in their Larupia, basically the brown cat camouflage.
Yeah, I have it.
Does that help here?
It helps in jungle.
Is this the jungle?
Like,
I thought this was like...
Where are you?
Because I got...
Oh, no, it doesn't.
I got the Witch Doctor costume because that's the proper camo for here. And like when I was getting it, like I just wore whatever random stuff. I think I wore Arams while I was getting it because I thought it didn't make a difference. Did I forget to put?
I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure it said it doesn't make a difference. Like each different camo has like a different place where it's useful.
Yes, I know
and Witch Doctors is the one for you. So they don't blend into each other. So even though it looks like jungle to me, it doesn't work. So I've been told. And on the subject of that ambush thing, This thing is
Wait, what were you
crazy.
saying about ambush?
The like how it hits so
Okay.
high. So players engaging in combat uses a pounce ability to and the ambush scrolls. A spirit Kiad, which is what the cat was, uses pounce, which can do up to triple damage the first time it enters combat against a player. But against an NPC, the max hit it can do is 321, and that's for one
That's
hit.
a lot, especially a lot for at the time it was released. It maybe not be so much a
Yeah,
lot now, but when it was released, there were no chaotics, and Steel Titan, was obviously released at the same time, but actually the Titans came later, so yeah, it was definitely
wait, are you sure? Are you sure there wasn't any chaotics? I remember people saying that it was best to use a rapier near the end. I'm
for
pretty sure
Nomad,
So
but
Solid
I mean
2K
at the
had
time
one.
that the cats were released, at the time that the
Oh
summoning
yeah,
skill was released, that was before dungeoneering. So I'm saying
yeah,
that seems really, really powerful for. There's a lot of things in the game, like I was saying about that fishing spot, and like, there's just spots in
yeah.
the game that were at some point the best thing ever, and now nobody uses them. For example, where I made all my money is it still exists, and it was like the most popular. Well, not the most popular, but it was a very crowded
I'm gonna
spot.
open up the map as you say this because I want to see where
Open
this
one up.
is. The
I'm
map.
just talking about one particular spot.
Yeah, yeah. I want to know where it
It's the
is.
Blood Rune chest, which is the reason why I've always loved thieving. The Blood Rune chest just north of Ardi on the other side of the river, where the Chaos monks are, I guess. You go in there and then you go underground and then there's an org or an ogre with that
Oh
guards
yeah,
two chests, and those chests
yeah,
would
yeah. And then it
respawn
teleports you.
like once every like 3 minutes. And when you thieve them, you'd get 2 blood runes and 1,500 gold, which was an absolute so much money. And it was very difficult because back then you couldn't. First of all, you couldn't run. There was no agility, so you couldn't like you couldn't run. Running came into the game with RS2, and RS1 there was no running. You moved at a constant speed at all times. But
I wish that was still true.
but well, no, you were telling me you like to run 3 times faster. But anyways, the blood runes were worth 3k a piece when the Magic Arena came out and the God spells were released. They were worth 3k a piece. So each time you successfully thieved this chest, it was 7.5k, which was just like so much money. It was amazing because at the time, D meds and red P hats were worth the same at 2 million. They were each worth 2 million, and that was like awesome. And can I not skip this random event? Anyways, and the blue P hats were 18 million. So I remember I saved up, and that's how I just totally not even paying attention to this random event. I just did jumping jacks. Um, I seem to be failing at being able to talk and do this event at the same time. So why don't you go ahead and talk real quick?
On the subject of running, I don't see the point in running. I don't see the point in walking. There you go. That's more correct. I don't see the point in depletion of a walking distance. Why can't I just run forever? What disadvantage would there be to being able to run forever? I don't understand. You know, I think agility shouldn't make you run for longer. It should make you run faster, like actually faster, and that'd be it. That's the only thing it should do. But that's the way I see it. It doesn't make sense other than any other way. This is the only game I know of where you have a depletion of your run. I don't get it. Like, is it overpowered to run? I don't know. I would like to know what their perspective is on that. But I've been told that. I think it might have been you. You
Yeah,
said, or someone
I
said
told you that
like it's built into the game.
that someone asked them at some point like why we can't run faster or something, and they said that basically the way it's coded is nobody runs. Running isn't a thing. There is no running. Basically, the way it's coded is that when you run or when you turn your run on, you traverse 2 squares at once instead of you're not so it shows you running, but it's coded in such a way where you're just traversing 2 squares at once, and for whatever reason they can't make it so you traverse 3 squares at once, and I find this suspect. Like that may very well be how it's coded. I'm not saying that's not how it's coded, but they've also said so when they released bracelets Yeah, the bracelets. Everybody was so excited about bracelets because they thought, hey, we're gonna get a new slot on the equipment that we could wear bracelets, and then they were released and you could only use them in place of gloves, and everyone was like, this is weak. We wanted to be able to wear gloves and bracelets. And the JMods who responded at the time were like, what? We had no idea the community was thinking this. Like, that wasn't even an option on the table
It should have
because of
been.
how difficult it would be to recode a new equipment spot. And then like a year or two
That's
later they
bull.
came out with auras, or maybe more than a year or two. But now they have auras, which
It
is a
was
new equipment spot. So just because a JMod or whatever, just because whoever supposedly knows about the game says that it can't be done, it can clearly be done because they've completely done that. They said you can't have a new equipment spot, and now they do.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
I'm
bull.
sure it's a lot of
A lot
effort,
of
but
stuff.
if they can do that,
Every time you say bracelets, it reminds me of the time when they. This is a long time ago. This is back when Keldegrim was like a
that's
cool
the
thing.
Dwarven
You know,
City.
people go there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no one
yeah.
goes there for
And
anything, do they?
they released. What are they called? They go around your wrists. It's like a metal piece around your wrists, and they released like you could customize them. This was the lolliest thing ever. You could customize these little.
Did you say
They look like
lulziest?
bracelets.
I've never heard that
Yeah,
word.
that is a
You're the
word.
first person who's ever
That
used
is a
that word
that
in my presence.
is not the coolest
Okay.
word you know.
Okay.
Coolest word you
Lulziest.
know.
Okay.
So if you take everything off on your character and your top, and you have like normal gear, like normal shit underneath, like none of the new stuff, you have like these metal things around your wrists. And they had brought out this update where you could customize them, so it had like waves or patterns on it. And the funniest thing is, they must have literally forgotten that they did that. Because as soon as they added these new things, like this new tops, like you're a cook
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, right? As soon as they added those, I don't know. To this day, they might still not know it, but it completely cancels out that other update. Like you cannot change the way those silver pieces look because they don't exist when you have these new items on, like these new like cloves underneath on, because they extend downwards. So those metal parts don't even exist anymore.
I have no
Which
idea
I
what metal
thought
things you're talking about, by the way. They're
it's
part of the
like
quest? They're part... You buy them?
no,
Are
no, no.
they, like, do you wear them?
They're
Are they an equipable item? Or are they, like, part of your, like,
it's just your.
avatar?
It's like part of your avatar. It's like metal. I think they're called bracers around your wrists, and they're probably about say 4 inches, maybe 3 inches, if you were to look at it, for real. And they would go
Wait,
around
did
your
you say
wrist.
inches? Shouldn't you
Yeah.
be saying, like,
I don't-
millimeters or something? You
No,
use inches?
you're never gonna
I'm
get
never
this
gonna get
right.
this right. Well, apparently you use stones for weight, but pounds for
Yep.
everything else.
No, pounds is just currency.
Wait, what was it? You use kilometers for distance, but miles
No, no,
for
no,
per gallon,
no, no, no.
and then
Miles,
also
meters,
liters,
stone.
right?
Yeah,
It's
liters.
it's
Yeah.
you cannot stick with a system. Like not only do you have like the English system, like the American system or whatever it's called, and then
People
the
have
metric
no idea.
system,
Talk.
but you also have like stones thrown in there too. Whatever stone is, I'm pretty sure that's not like you have like 3 systems going on at one time.
People are gonna have no idea what we're
We're talking
talking
about like
about.
unit conversions, but yeah.
But yeah, those steel things around your wrists. Yeah.
Yeah, bonus
I don't know
XP.
why.
Yeah, okay.
If you remember, come on, you remember all this stuff. Surely you remember, like on your avatar, if you had nothing on top, you would have these metal bracers round your wrists. They would be just completely silver, and they would be on there. And like that
They
was
have those in
it.
Dungeoneering. You can kill like Slayer monsters and they drop bracers, right? Don't they? They have a gold one and a silver one. But
I
that's
think
the
so.
only
Yeah.
bracer
And,
I can think of.
yeah, but
Are they the same thing essentially?
like they're part of your avatar. Yeah, they're part of your
Okay.
avatar.
Well, I'm not
If you have
familiar
like
with them. I'm not
gear.
saying they're not in the game. I don't know about them.
So yeah, it was funny that they completely forgot about the old stuff and just like, oh fuck it. 'Cause I went there just for the fun of it and tried to change the way they looked because why not? Because I was just there, and they were like, oh no, well, you're wearing something special. I can't put that on for you. Sorry, bro. It's like, wow, nice.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, but I mean,
Trying to find a
they must have mods or whoever that programs stuff sometimes, and then they just leave, I guess, and don't ever leave any
yeah.
legacy of information. Because so I don't remember where I was hearing this from, but I guess the guy who invented the Celestial Surge Box Dungeoneering reward, like intended it to be
Yeah.
like a whole like game changing line of updates, and then he just left Jagex or something. And
Isn't
and
it
so
useful though?
the
Isn't it
Celestial
useful?
Surge Box is useful
Yeah.
only so there's so many offhand items that you could use for magic, which is the biggest reason why I never got the Farseer kite shield or whatever it's called before doing the fight kiln, because you could use the Zami book very effectively, especially if you're somewhere like Ganodermix. But the Celestials and nowadays you use the Polypore pretty much everywhere, and Polypore doesn't work with the Celestial Surge Box since you're not using spells. The only place I use the Celestial Surge Box now that there's a Polypore is at Glaciers, because that's the place
Glaciers,
to
yep.
use them.
Here's a quick link. Obviously, people from the watching this won't know what this is, but I wanted to show you what I was talking about. Here's a link to an image. Look at the guy in Rune, furthest south. Look at his races.
But I just clicked it and it didn't. Whoa. No.
Did it work?
I don't know what just happened. I did not
me see if I can-
get a link. But anyways, while we try and get this link to work, I'll go back to talking about bonus XP. I think I'm gonna get call because I'm vibrating. No? Is this just... Yeah, ignore. Bonus experience. So, it starts at 2.7 times multiplier, and then it tapers off to 1.1. So basically 10% bonus. But it doesn't apply everywhere. Like prayer, if you're like not burying bones, which I don't think anybody buries bones. The first guy who got 99 prayer, I think his name was Gear Shifter or something like that, or Gear Grinder or Grind Shifter. I don't know. He buried bones because there was no other option. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, didn't Ectophon just come
No,
at that
I'm
time?
pretty sure he stood around in the wilderness and collected those big bones that respawned, while also killing the giants that also dropped big bones. And I'm pretty sure he just killed those forever, because there was
Oh, I
no better
feel
way. But
sorry
ever
for that
since
guy.
Ectofungus, and now obviously the Gilded Altars exist, there's no use for prayer during the bonus experience weekend, because you only get the highest possible bonus, and Gilded Altars is what, 350% or 400%?
400.
It's more than 250% or 270%. So
It's
you
times
just get
4.
you get the higher of the multipliers. So there's no reason
they
to
don't
compare
stack.
on the bonus experience weekend. But so for the first experience weekend, people got insane amounts of summoning experience, because now you're
Yes.
capped at 10% at all times. But the first weekend that was not the case.
The reason, some people, you might not be aware at that time, might not have been playing at that time. You might think, oh, it's no big deal, whatever. Why did they do that summoning? You got to think, at this point, has summoning been out like a year? How long has summoning been out now? At that point, I'm thinking it 1 or 2 years.
I don't know, probably 2 years.
And at that time, people who were doing Slayer, they were just collecting. I don't remember why, but that was the deal. If you would do Slayer, you just collect, and collect. And people were running on 30k crimsons just for the lulz, whatever, just collecting insanely, because that was the thing to do. You'd collect and then you'd get 99 and all in one go. As the bonus XP weekend came out, I don't think Jagex realized that summoning isn't a skill you do piece by piece. You can get all 99 in, realistically, a day. How many hours do you think you'd be able to get 99 in if you had every single charm?
Charms?
Yeah,
Not very many.
I think maybe a ballpark of 5 hours. Definitely
No, you
within
can
the
get
bonus
5
XP time.
hours. That's like over 2 million experience an hour.
Well, why is that special? You can do that with D-Bones. There's Frostbones. It's not an amazing it's XP per hour.
I don't know. Maybe it
You know?
seems
It's
okay.
nothing
Okay,
special.
whatever. Go on.
But, okay, not 5 hours. Okay, let's say 10 hours. But it was definitely within the bonus XP weekend. You could get 1 to 99 in that time. So within 10 hours, you could get 1 to 99 if you had every single Crimson. But most people weren't 1 to 99. They were probably like maybe level 60, 70, 80, right? People would get the whole thing in one go really fast. I think there was even some YouTube videos where a guy just went like hell, sped it up, and you could see him insane XP drop. Because like if you were using just blues, like a full invent on bonus XP, at 2.7 XP, that's a huge XP, like amount of XP for one invent. Because right now I can get a full invent of like, I don't know, like Mithril Minotaurs or something, and get like 5k for a full invent. And that's Mithril Minotaurs. These guys were doing way better than that, so it was insane. And my memory is not great, so you could probably poke holes in what I'm saying, but take my word for it. It was crazy XP, and that's why to this day it's still 10% more instead. Or they might have done it on purpose. I don't know. You know, possibly. Maybe they just do this shit on purpose for the fun of it.
I think they just did it without thinking. But yeah. But
like the dungeoneering glitch.
The Runecraft, isn't that the last time they did a rollback? Like years ago, but yeah.
But that wasn't the only glitch I'm talking about. There was the runecrafting, which was insane XP, and then there was the smuggle, which was you can get like an infinite amount of runes out of dungeoneering.
Oh, I didn't know about that. They had that with the release of the Barbarian Outpost. It just crashed the.
There was 2 versions of
Bloods and everything crashed because I don't think it was even like I didn't do it or know how it was done, but they just. I don't think you even had to glitch. I think it was just like if you got blood runes, they just didn't leave your inventory at the end of the game. Was it as simple as that? You had to actually do something.
There was
everybody got blood runes out of it because I don't know if it was popularized or what, but my impression was that they just basically forgot to take the blood runes out of your inventory, and they were like, "Hey, everybody gets
the way you got them out." The way you got them out was there was 3 runecrafting problems at the beginning, right? In order, the first one was just you could get a ridiculous amount of XP just runecrafting normally. Just normal runecrafting, you would make it, you'd get a ridiculous amount of XP. I don't remember why, but you would just get a huge amount of XP. Now the second one was, like you said, just blood runes. And like it was something really simple. Like you would have a yak and then like unsummon it and resummon it and slide down the thing and summon it while you're sliding and some crazy shit like that, and you'd spam something so it would like an interface would glitch up, and then boom, your yak would be in there, and then you'd put it in, your yak would die, and then when you got outside, all your shit would be on the floor. You just pick it up. That's how you smuggle them out. And the third one was amazingly crazy. People didn't even understand how this happened. But you know the sagas? The dungeoneering sagas.
Yeah. I don't think I've done
where you can play as other characters.
Well, I did
you know
the
about
quest
it,
where you can do that, where you unlock additional ammo. But yeah.
Well, with those, you could request for the people to give you runes. But if you spammed it, they just give you an insane amount. You just spam their names. Give me a sec.
Really?
Sorry, I had to sneeze. So you could just spam their names, and then like you just get loads of runes because they could give it to you. And if you spammed it, the game would kind of wait until you finish clicking, and they would give you a clump of runes. So as you left, you'd keep those runes. You'd keep them all. And there's even a video on YouTube to this day, and the guy smuggles about I think it was like something crazy, like a bill of fire runes, and just sells them for like 1 GP each to crash the market. Because he just did it over and over and over again.
Somebody should do that now, because fire runes just cost 50 GP right now. It's so much.
I'm gonna try and find the video now. You can see it. It's just ridiculous. It does it over and over and over again, really fast, really sped up, and and then sells all of them. I didn't understand what he was doing at the beginning. I was like, "Whoa, dude, make some profit!" But he sells every single one of them for 1 GP each, and then I understood it was crazy.
Isn't there like a limit on how many you can sell at a time? Like the 4 hour limit?
No,
Like you can only sell like 50K every 4 hours?
no, I don't think either. It wasn't active back then, or I don't even know there is a limit to selling. I know there's a limit to
Oh, I
buy
assume that the limit would be both ways.
I don't know. I've never sold that many things.
I just assumed that it would go both ways. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I've got the video ready. Let me see how many he actually sold. Like he actually got, realistically. He has 600K in a minute. He made 600K profit in a single minute.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. Let me see. This isn't the.
I'm assuming
this isn't the right video.
if he's on YouTube, he probably got banned for it.
No, because
he
it doesn't show
crashed
his name.
the economy. Whether or not you ban him, unless you roll back it, you're not going to fix the effect.
I don't think this one got rolled back because, like I said, there was multiple problems with rune crafting. Not all of them got rolled back. Oh, there's a. They really go hard on rolling back. They really don't like rolling back.
Well, because basically they have to admit failure to roll back. Nobody likes to admit failure.
I think there's a big problem to rolling back. They spoke about it in that RuneFest, and it was some big story they gave about it.
Did you go?
No, I didn't go. I just got told about it. But yeah, it was like crazy. It was something like we couldn't do it because blah 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 technicalities and whatever, and it was insane. And at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. And a lot of people got screwed over by other glitches like the grave glitch. You remember that one?
Well, I was actually going to mention that earlier when you were talking about Nomad. That's something that still happens. I don't know about the grave glitch, but that's still an issue where I've never had the issue because I never play when an update comes out because I'm at work or just otherwise not on RuneScape or just don't really care to ever get updates when they first come out. But yeah, I could see where there's internet. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It said there was internet connection between the two of us. Anyways, man, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, about the grave. Yeah, so people lose there's just apparently a huge pile on.
Oh, what was that? Darkmire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was one of them.
There's just piles of graves on top of graves on top of graves, and this has happened update after update after update for a while now. I don't understand why.
They don't see it as a problem. They don't see it as a problem because I don't think they know how to fix it.
Just don't do
then
graves.
Again, back then,
just make it so that when you die, if you're gonna have a grave, just make it so you don't lose your item. That's how you fix it.
No, I like losing items.
I do too, but I mean, if you're gonna have if the alternative is like, if you're gonna have a grave that you can't get to, or you're gonna have.
No, there's easier ways to fix it.
So this wraps up part 2 of the podcast. Hope everybody enjoyed the content. Consider subscribing so you get first notification when part 3 is available. And I hope everyone also had a good bonus experience weekend. And don't forget to leave your comments below so that we can address them in the interactive follow-up part of the podcast. Have a nice day.